Good evening.
Good evening.
I have known Michael for 15 years as a colleague, and we have become good friends, very close friends. Throughout that time, Michael served as a manager of hundreds of advisors from Providence, Rhode Island to Minneapolis to here in Chicago. And he was always a great advocate and supporter of the financial advisor. And so we bonded, we saw eye to eye. Michael also believes in something I feel very strongly about, that the one true differentiator in our industry is personal communication from the advisor. It's the cornerstone of all successful financial relationships. Every firm, every decent firm has the technology and the systems and the platforms and the managers. So what's the differentiator? You. And Michael has been, sometimes to a fault, the strongest advocate and in the advisor's corner. He and I also share some common thoughts about the different mindsets that financial advisors fall into. And it's not a perfect categorization, but you might think about which of these boxes you dominate. There's the mindset of the complacent advisor. You know, the status quo is fine. Things are good. Yeah, I can always pick up a few pointers here and there, but let's not disrupt the boat. It's going along. Leave things as they are. And you know those advisors. I know they're not in this room. Then there are the realists. Do a lot of things very well. But they're realists and they know there are always ways that they can improve. But the true realist does something about it. They don't just say, yeah, I want to get better. They put in the time and the money and the effort and invest in themselves to be better. Then there's a mindset of the autopilot advisor. Autopilot, they figure this thing out. It's running really well, and it's on that cruise control, and they're making a heck of a lot of money. But you know, sometimes what happens, that autopilot doesn't work. Then, and this is what I think we're in the company of, there's the consummate professionals. Realists at heart, always striving to be better, dealing with their weaknesses, creating that great client experience, but damn it, sometimes they lose an account or they don't win that proposal that they thought they had. And it ticks them off. And they look at themselves and they debrief and they critique and they do everything they can to get back on top. So what do you think dominates the industry when it comes to what category financial advisors most identify with? And what category do most firms hope their advisors identify with? Michael will have some insights for you on that. Now, those are two things Michael and I agreed on. What I initially disagreed with Michael about was writing this damn book. I was privy to, and he asked me, will you write the foreword? And I did, and I got to read and to critique and to comment and to advise and counsel, none of which he took, the content of this book. And I said, Michael, what the heck are you doing? You're going to tick some people off. But Michael said, you know what? I know it's risky, but we're in the business of managing risk, and no risk, no reward. And so Michael writes about sometimes the conflict or the confluence of big bank and top of the house directives and the financial advisors. Sometimes they're in sync, and other times way out of alignment. And so he brings this battle for authenticity, for relevancy to everyone. And some people see it and they reflect on it and they act upon it. And then there may be some at the top of the house, as he likes to say, that say, man, that's not a message we want to send because we want to control you. And it's not about control. Of course you need controls and guardrails and systems and things in place. But doesn't there seem to be a risk that those guardrails are tightening, the vice is closing? And if it does, what does that do to your ability to offer and be your authentic, genuine self to your clients and to your team and to your staff and to yourself? That's what worried me. But the more we talked, the more I read this book. I remember this one day, I said, yeah, Michael, you gotta go through it and write it. And will it close some doors? Might, but what's happened, the doors that have opened in Michael's world and other advisors is just expanding and it's almost limitless. So I feel privileged to be a small part in Michael's journey. And just think about this too. Every story has a hero. And Michael's heroes are all of you. The financial advisor is the hero. And every story has a villain. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a very good story. It's how the hero overcomes the obstacles, the challenges, the setbacks, the headwinds. Michael has great insight and perspective so that the heroes can reach their destination and achieve their potential and opportunity and fulfillment. And that's why I appreciate what Michael has done. And last thing I'll say is, sometimes it's hard to tell the truth and to tell that news and tell things the way they are. Because sometimes they shoot the messenger. But let's not shoot Michael. Let's do a shout out for Michael for having the courage to bring these issues to the financial professionals field, all with the hope and desire to make you even better versions of your already very, very fine selves. Thank you.